In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of creating a PDF from your Word document that you have for your graphic design history journal. Now, obviously, this is not an example of a spread, but I've put a blue colored box on here to give you an idea of, that there would be imagery type, some kind of designed content on this spread. And so the process of creating a PDF from Word is actually fairly similar. I'm using the Macintosh version of Word, so you may be using a newer or potentially maybe even older version of Word, and it might even be on a PC. So I can give you some ideas of what that process might be like, but I will be showing it specifically from this operating system and program. So in Word, you go up to the File, and then the Save as Adobe PDF. So it's really that simple. This allows you to, rename the document, whatever you want to call it. You might want to include your name or whatever the file protocol that your instructor has suggested. Right down here you'll see that it's saying that it's saving it as a PDF, which is exactly what we want. You can also change where the PDF ultimately will be saved on your computer. That's something you'll want to look at. So you can see that I'll go ahead and call this, my name, design journal. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then you'll notice now it's going to go ahead and open it automatically for me. Here it is, but you can also see that this file is saved onto my desktop now. So that's the process of creating a PDF. So some other things you might need to look for though. If you don't see this menu, you might try the Save As function. Oftentimes through here you can change what you're saving the document as. You can see here that that's another way I can save it as a PDF on this machine. By selecting PDF, that's going to give me the same functionality as what I did before, but maybe that might be an option that you have that could help you if you do not have this menu. Another thing you might look for is export, some kind of an export menu. That might also help you save it as a PDF, but that's really what you need to do. Now, hopefully you have set your document up like this. Ideally you have built a single page in Microsoft Word that represents the full spread. So it should be 8 inches tall by 16 inches wide. But if for some reason you have created a document that is in single pages, which is what we would call this, where each page is 8 by 8, Microsoft Word does not have a way to export these together as spreads. The program doesn't operate that way. It's not intended to create a book with pages side by side. So if you are just starting, I highly suggest going back and watching the tutorial videos and resetting up your document. But if you're almost finished, I can show a very quick way that's a small workaround to try to solve this. Now, it won't change the way your spreads are designed, but it will change the way that they're viewed. So I'm going to go ahead and save this as a PDF. I'm going to go ahead and call it the same thing, but I'll call this pages just so I can tell them apart. Alright, and it opens up and here's those 2 pages. Now one thing I can do is I can set the PDF program to default to showing this as spreads. So that's one thing we can do that can help. So that's up here in Properties. So once we're inside this Properties menu, you'll notice that it actually defaults to this initial view, which is basically telling you what do you want the viewer to see when they initially open up this file. So we're able to come down here to Page Layout and say that we want 2 up facing. So we can click OK, and you'll notice nothing changes. If you want to see something change, you can go to View and do the page display. You can change the way these will look. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 2-page view so I can show you what this will ultimately look like. But what's great now is when I close this document and I save it, the next time I reopen it, it will actually default to being connected together. So even when you send this to your instructor, they will be viewing the spreads like this. Make sure that you have the right settings selected. If you want your cover to appear by itself, you'll notice there's other view options. For example, there's this 2-up cover page. That's going to keep your first page as a single page, but all the following pages as spreads. So that very likely might be what you want to use, but I would toggle these things and play with them. Unfortunately, if you do not have Adobe Acrobat, and potentially even if you don't have Adobe Acrobat Pro, these options might not be available to you. I don't think you can make these kinds of changes permanently in preview, but hopefully if you have access to this or go into the lab and get access, you can quickly modify your file to make it work. So I hope that helps you create your PDF from a Microsoft Word file so your teacher can view things in spreads. As always, if you have questions, email your instructor. I'm sure they're more than happy to help you.